Hey everybody, and welcome back to Nick and Nate plus more. I don't know about you guys, but I have actually gotten into the new game mode for Warzone. Obviously when you first see it, Godzilla and King Kong, you're just like, okay, yeah, so like there's gonna be new map points of interest, right? No, it's Godzilla and Kong actually in the fucking map. I would say like there's
Can you get stepped on by them?
Oh yeah. You can get
shoot at
stepped on. Kong can throw a fucking rock at you, and Godzilla. Oh my god! Like every time it gives me chill, because Godzilla can do his heat wave, and of course it's and it's just like blaring in your ear, especially if you have good headphones or whatever. Oh man, it's kind of like an airstrike where like it'll show you where it is, so you just gotta like fucking book it or whatever out of there.
Does it like destroy buildings and stuff too, like the way it works, or
no?
not?
Unfortunately, no. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
the Call of Duty not broken dice.
Yeah,
right
I was gonna say, I was like, Call of Duty really didn't go all in on this. They were pretty desperate for this pitch, but they're like, yeah, so Godzilla and King Kong are gonna be in the city that you're fighting in, right? It's like, oh, so the building's gonna break left and right? No, they're gonna avoid all the buildings. And they're gonna throw rocks and stuff. So the rocks are gonna like break buildings. No, like, well,
they just disappear from the map.
Exactly.
Like I want to be there at the pitch where I'm just like in there, like, so. Okay, so we're not gonna like. Okay. I mean, it sounds fun still, but like,
yeah,
couldn't go all in on this. I mean, we have billions of dollars, but okay.
Oh, no, I think that is probably the one thing that is maybe a little disappointing, is the fact that it's like, okay, you're taking all our money, and then you get something really cool. Like I have to admit, it's super cool to see like so Kong hangs out around Peak.
Yeah.
And basically he'll just kind of jump from one side to the other to the very center. So basically anytime you piss him off enough by damaging him, he'll just kind of move to a new spot. And then Godzilla does the same thing, but he's on the coast. So every time he moves to a new area, he actually goes down into the water, and all you can see is his, freaking spikes or whatever. And it's just like, it looks so cool. And the game mode itself is basically like Resurgence, where you get respawns as long as one of your teammates is still alive. So that's really cool. And by doing damage to the Titans, you get intel. And so there's like this whole like rewards there's like 9 rewards that you can get to. The last one being a device that you can basically make the Titan attack a certain area. So that's really cool.
Wow.
It's really cool. But at the same time, I think the one thing they just didn't think of was the fact that it's really cool having them on the map. It's really cool, like shooting at them and stuff. But you can literally shoot at them for the entire.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what does shooting at them do?
Nothing. It does a hit marker, and you get intel from it. Which.
Oh, okay.
Why do you get intel from them? Like,
I mean, did you not watch the movie Godzilla vs. Kong? That's exactly what happened.
But but like in chests or when you kill somebody, you can pick up like a book, and that book is intel, and so that also goes into the reward system as well. So it's almost like this weird kind of plunder, almost in a way. Only you can eventually die if all your team members die at the same time. So it's this weird kind of side mode or whatever. But I do kind of like what I've kind of strategized is at the beginning of the match, it's all about finding a weapon and doing as much damage to the Titans. And then as soon as I get that top tier reward, then it's all about focusing on everybody else. Because it's like, I've already gotten the top tier, so I don't really need to like go through it again. What's that going to do for me, right? So, but in general, I think the aesthetic is just really cool. I feel like they completely missed the mark on gameplay. But the aesthetic is just really cool. And you kind of brought it up, so that's one thing I want to talk about is the desperation. Because it's just, I mean, like, Warzone mechanically is just a really good game. And other games try to copy it. I mean, just Call of Duty in general, right?
Yeah.
But Warzone is in such a weird position because it has this like ugly cousin.
The Call of Duty
Yeah,
franchise.
Vanguard.
I would say like
more
the
in
entire.
particular.
I know, but yeah, because like I think it's still the franchise in general. Because like they were just lucky that Black Ops, Cold War was good, or at least well received, at least. Because I still think in general it was very strange that they have to follow the like that timeline at all. Like I think Warzone would just benefit tremendously by just truly being separate from like all that other stuff, because that other stuff is the only thing bringing it down. Like yeah, Vanguard basically is killing Warzone, like because Vanguard's just so bad. It's like one of the worst Call of Duties I think since Ghosts. Like I don't even know. That's saying a lot. Ghosts is pretty bad. Like it's pretty forgettable. But Vanguard, just what it did to the franchise is just, and I don't think it's irreparable, but I do see the ripple effect that it's already having. Like Call of Duty literally like announcing Modern Warfare 2 immediately, like hey, the Modern Warfare 2 is coming, like we're bringing that, we're not gonna stay on Vanguard long, guys, like don't worry. And it sounds like they might even start slowing down the pace at which they release their games. Like they're kind of done. They kind of realize, hey, this yearly structure, while it's making us billions of dollars now, in the long run, we're going to be like killing our own franchise real quick, right? Like they're at this point, they're on Transformers 4 and they need to like rethink of what they're doing. And and Bumblebee's doing really well right now, you know, so they got to focus on that real quick, right?
It's definitely the best thing about Vanguard is the fact that it is causing them to officially stop the annual releases, because I think this is the one out of all of them that you can look to and go, oh, yep, that's the casualty of franchise fatigue. Because I feel like you can make an argument for World War II, the World War II game, which again goes back to it being a fucking awful title.
You could make an argument. I would argue still against it, but continue.
right. You know, it's just one of those. It compared to the other ones, it feels a little bit more forgetful. Multiplayer wise, not so much, but campaign, I'm like, all right, yeah, that was cool. I've seen that 1,000 some odd times. But yeah, Vanguard was the first Call of Duty that I didn't buy. Yeah, me and Nick had game shared Cold War, and prior to that, like I was all in on Modern Warfare. Actually, bought the Night Vision Goggle edition and was scolded for it. But but no, I'm looking forward to Modern Warfare 2 because it's one of those, like I was telling Nick, they literally like have nothing. They have nothing right now. Activision needs a win. Call of Duty needs a win. And if there is
their whole company's like under fire, like.
Yeah, but it's also the fact of like this I think is the only thing that could potentially bring them back, because Modern Warfare 2019 100% turned the franchise around, I feel like, and especially with the new engine, and then for them to the next two games just kind of go away backwards. Yeah, it's like, but why? You know?
Yeah, it's like the cool part is like I think that's the beauty of like, I mean, obviously franchise fatigue. One thing, like, I mean, I've been off of Call of Duty, like, at least I used, like, growing up, I grew up on Call of Duty, right? I grew up on Halo 3 and Call of Duty, like Halo 2, Halo 3 were my jam, and then Call of Duty 4 came out, and like I remember that being just like it was just different, and it was just so fun. I had a blast playing Call of Duty 4, and to this day, my favorite Call of Duty is Modern Warfare 2, the original Modern Warfare 2, you know? Sure. I still think that game is like a banger, man. I think that game basically took everything that Call of Duty 4 did and then made it even more fun. Campaign-wise, it was a step back, but like multiplayer-wise, that was the most I've ever played a game like from beginning to end besides Halo 3. Those are the Halo 3 is my most played game probably. I guess now it's Apex or like Overwatch at one point. But you get my point. Like that's a very, very big moments in my life where like gaming mattered, right? But I would say, like, for me, I already felt the franchise fatigue by Modern Warfare 3. Like I could already tell that one felt really off and weird. Yeah. And so even though like Black Ops 3 came out, which was like afterwards, which is I think a pretty good game still, like, but then I can feel like I feel like that was when the campaign started not to matter. So it was like why are we selling the like like why not sell the multiplayer as a separate package? Like back in my mind, I'm already seeing like these problems, right? Where like I've never complained about that in Modern Warfare 1 or Black Ops 1 or Modern Warfare 2, and a good campaign like to back it up as well. And these other ones are just like they clearly just ignore the campaign at this point. Like here's the multiplayer, and if they're just going to give you the multiplayer, why not just focus on that game? Like why not make that game not a yearly release? Why not just like, because I imagine Modern Warfare 2019, that was just like, that was the last Call of Duty that's been released for the last 3 years, and it's just been getting updated, and it's like beautiful, and this is like amazing game. Because that 2019 is when Apex was released. So like I mean Apex initially, I mean it was EA, it came out of nowhere, didn't really have a crazy marketing budget. It just kind of it made waves, but it wasn't the biggest thing. Like Fortnite was always on top, Warzone was on top, something was on top, right? And now finally, after all these time and seeing all these other like basically kings fall, Apex is finally on top in terms of like the battle royale and like the shooter genre in general. It just took time. It took like a lot of effort and a lot of energy, but like it's because they kept at it versus Call of Duty, who just kind of just didn't want to continue doing that and stuff. And then they essentially started copying everyone else. Like Call of Duty is great, but to pretend that they are like the people that started everything, or like they're like the ones that people copy. Like I would say that Apex, or not Apex, sorry. I would say that Warzone took a lot of its best elements, with the exception of the Gulag, from other battle royales that came before it. And that's just, they've been riding that wave ever since. They see what's good, they're like, they do it, and they don't, and I still think the developers don't understand necessarily what is good. They've just been lucky. They've just been like completely lucky, and then they've messed it up, obviously, because like they don't know what's good. So that's like the last couple of years of Warzone being like fun was not a testament to like their actual like skills as developers, and more just like this is just happens to be a very phenomenal engine. And just the map sucked. No one can tell me like your favorite, like you have a favorite map like in Warzone. That map is forgettable.
Yeah, it's
as hell.
weird that I want to go back to Blackout. Like, like I find that strange, but it's so much better map wise.
You know what I mean? Though, like, so like no one's looking at Warzone as peak battle royale, but it is peak current Call of Duty, and that's what people like about it. But like that's also why it's been so easy for me to like kind of just ignore it. Because it's just like, because like to me, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm already so deep in this other battle royale that actually gives a shit about like their aesthetic and like their balance, and like everything just feels good over here. Like, well, I'm gonna go over there where like they add Kong and Godzilla to the middle of my match. I'm just trying to play a
game. I mean, yeah, it says a lot that like Apex, for instance, is on its 4th map, and I feel like in general, each map is loved for its own reason.
It has its pros and cons. Yeah.
Right. So like, meanwhile, like Warzone, I think one of the things that Warzone got the worst, or the thing they did the worst is their evolution of the map. You know, you'd have one season, like I remember the one season, and they totally hyped up trains. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not Sheldon Cooper, okay? I'm not like jizzing over trains and stuff. Like, and that was the only thing. Meanwhile, you have like Apex, when they changed even just Kings Canyon, they changed it. It's like, over here's all effed up, over here's a brand new thing, here's the Octane thing. It's way different than anything on the entire island.
I remember when they first dropped that too. That's a little throwback. That's a throwback.
Man, and I mean, it just goes to show when just giving a shit, you know, when you have freaking vents at the helmet of it all, and like I feel like you can tell who's a gamer based on the game that they're fucking making, because you have Vince over there for Respawn, which of course now he's going over to Battlefield, so hey, maybe he can fix that fucking garbage. But point being is that there was a clear vision. You know, even if he's busy working on, you know, like Star Wars, for instance, right? Yeah. Even if he's busy working on Star Wars, he's still the head, and he can still come over here and be like, you know what, we should try this and we should do that. And it's so much more clear that Apex just has its shit together.
There's much more quality oversight being run on the game. Yeah.
No, and it has its own problems. Like I'm not over here just trying to like, right? I'm not over here like, Like it's like trying to suck some Apex like all day, right? Because like it's true. Like it's one of those beautiful things where like obviously I have to give credit where credit's due. Apex has basically launched my career. Like when Apex came out, I had like 200,000 subscribers from just playing Overwatch mostly and like doing like Fortnite, Overwatch, whatever just came out, whatever. But then Apex came and that kind of just made it so much easier to just continue making content on that side, right? So I love Apex, and I've been there for all its like, for all its growing pains and all of its issues and stuff. So like I always criticize it, and I always try my best to like not just be this guy that only plays Apex 2. Like I love trying new games. I love other games in general. I think a lot of people, especially in my field or my sphere of people that are content creators specifically for Apex, that's like the only thing they play, the only thing they make content on. And it's very telling because like then they don't get that perspective of like going to Warzone and seeing like what's good here, or going to like this other game and seeing what's good, going back to Fortnite and be like, wow, that was a very fun experience. Like when Fortnite removed building, I made a video on that because I was very excited to like play that, and I had a great time. I don't think anyone else that like was like an Apex creator really even done that, like really did that. I mean, they may have streamed, like streamers may have streamed for a day and then moved on. And like at the same thing, I didn't go back to Fortnite anytime quickly, but like it's just more like being excited for other games and stuff is like a big deal. Like I want Warzone to succeed because I do enjoy Warzone, and Warzone's a game that like I think still has so many things that are so unique to it that are so fun that I would love to go back to. Like I mentioned the Gulag. The Gulag is just such a simple and easy mechanic to get you to keep playing the game. And the other thing I really enjoyed about Warzone is the way the loot structure works there. Is like I think it's pretty sick that like you can like make your own create a class and like buy a specific gun that you want. Right. Like I think I really enjoy that aspect about it. Like there's very specific things, buying back your teammates, like the money system. I enjoy all that, and it's stuff that like in my head there's like a perfect world of like this beautiful like mishmash of everything that I like about every game.
Right.
Like that's the stuff I would want in my battle royale. In my dream battle royale, Gulag money system that they have, that's what we keep. Give me the Apex movement system and their gunplay because I like prefer that. Like slam them together. Give me all that. Give me that jazz. Give me solos.
Like, Apex's art style too, because
I love Apex's art style.
It hurts to look at Warzone. I feel like, and I see gameplay footage, and I even watched the stuff for Kong and Godzilla, and I'm like, yeah, that looks all cool, but the game still just visually looks like shit, and I don't want to play this.
It's very gray, right? Like
yeah.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but they have not upgraded to PlayStation 5 officially. So anytime I play it on my PlayStation 5, I get this really weird, almost like screen door effect where it's just a little fuzzy, and I've looked up ways to make it stop. It's like, oh, turn off HDR. It's like, well, if I'm turning off HDR, why even play on a 4K? But I mean, I'll try so many things, and it still doesn't work. It still looks like dog shit. Meanwhile, I can put it on a 1080p, screen, play it on my PlayStation 4, and it somehow looks better. So it's like they're just not optimizing it for the next generation. But obviously, the next generation, or even just like a really good PC. Obviously, if you get it on a really good PC, that's gonna look really good. So like, why can I not get that on my PlayStation 5?
Nick, I'm be real. It doesn't even look that good on a really good PC. Like on the best graphics, like you're like, wow, that's the best graphics, huh?
It's very like pop in, and it's
it's a lack of color that like I do love Fortnite and Apex like for that reason. They're not afraid of color. Like they really just pop in with like they're gonna make things really red, really green, really blue.
Yeah,
like and it's nice. It's nice. It's also just good for. It's kind of weird, but like mental notes of where where you are.
Yeah,
I think it's very simple. It's a very simple way to be like, oh, I'm on this side of the map because of this color. Like,
good point,
even like the original map in Apex was Kings Canyon. There was two halves of the map, one that was more deserty and the other half that was more jungle, like green. And so like that was kind of an easy way to distinguish where you were, versus like and I'm telling you, like, every time I go in Warzone, I'm just like, there's a tree, there's a house, gray,
jump it
gray
in,
and browns.
You're right. We'd be like, which biome do we want to go to in Apex? Where it's like, do we want to go to the farm? Do we want to go to the airport? Which are we picking? But my old friend.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Nick and Nate Plus More. I was Nick.
I was Nate.
I'm Plus More.
And you guys have a good